another one. Before we get into it, I need you to go ahead and hit the bell, hit the subscribe button, and go ahead and hit the like button. Because listen, baby, we are doing the book review of the Four Agreements. And the Four Agreements is a hot topic. It's the book that you clearly need to read. I was sitting down and I was talking to my friend, and we were talking about the books we had read, and she was like, "Yo, I just finished reading the Four Agreements, and girl, when I tell you it did something to me," I'm like, "Word? Well, let me see that book." Pass me on the book. So she gave me the book, and as I was talking to another friend, I was like, "I'm about to start reading the Four Agreements," and she was like, "Girl, that's the book that changed my life. That's why I am the way I am today." And I said, "This is the book that made you the way you are today." Because I've noticed that she does have a more positive and spiritual energy around her. And I said, if this is the book that did that to you, I need to read it. I need to see what it's talking about. So let's go ahead and get into it. You feel me? The Four Agreements, it first starts off just describing how as a baby, when we come out the womb, we are domesticated into these different beliefs and these thoughts. And as we grow old, we're making all of these agreements to everything else and everyone else but ourselves. And the key to life is making four agreements to yourself. And basically, the four agreements are: number one, being impeccable with your word. And anyone who's been paying attention or you listen, they talk about the powers in the word. Just when you speak these positive words or when you speak these negative words, how they can come to life. And that's why you hear people talk about affirmations so much, your daily affirmations and speaking everything into existence, because it is truly something that powerful. So that's the first agreement, right? Be impeccable with your word. Number two, the second agreement is don't take anything personally. And listen, I learned this for myself. But the reason being of why you don't want to take anything personally is because you have to understand that as individuals, we're all dealing with our own personal shit. Okay? We're all dealing with something. We're all going through this personal journey of figuring things out. And a lot of times we say things that is not coming from a positive place, it's not coming from a good place. So when I say it, it doesn't necessarily mean that you caused it or something is wrong with you. So that's why you cannot internalize what other people say to you, because it's not you, it's them. I promise you, like, it's not you, it's them. And sometimes as people, we don't even realize that we're putting out this negative energy because we're not aware of how impeccable our words are. So we just say whatever. So that is the second agreement. Do not take anything personally, because whatever people say to you is not true and it don't mean shit. You feel me? But when you make that agreement to what other people think of you or what other people say about you, again, that's a negative agreement that you're committing to. So you have to not take it personally. The third agreement was do not make assumptions. And this agreement probably resonated with me the most because I personally know that I've made assumptions in my head, creating my own hell, thinking that, oh, people back home don't give a fuck about me, they don't care about me, they don't love me, which has created this negative world in my head that has caused me to actually be withdrawn from people back home. So I know that it's just something that I'm working with. But the assumptions agreement is something that he really made the connection between relationships between a woman and a man. And he was just basically saying this is why so many failed relationships happen, is because we like to have these assumptions that, oh, this is my lover, he knows what I like, he knows what I want. Or even just with your friends, my friends, these be my friends, they understand that I don't like that. Or my parents, they know what I want. And in reality, people really don't know. So what is the best way to kill an assumption? It's an easy answer. I know you guys know it. Okay, I'll tell you. Ask questions. Do not make assumptions. Just ask questions. Is that what you said? Did you say what you said? Because I know what you said, but I'm not sure if that's what you said, because that's how I took it. You feel me? So that's the way to handle that agreement, is to ask questions. Please do not make assumptions. Now, the fourth agreement ties into all the agreements, and that's basically saying do your best at all times. Always try your best. And he was making the connection between and being open and honest, which I really loved. Like, he was open and honest and was just like, yo, this is not gonna be easy. And it's not. When you make the decision to be better and do better and go on a spiritual journey of just changing your whole life around, it's not going to be easy. Your best 2 months ago is not going to look the same as your best right now, here and today. But if that's your best, then that's your best, and that's something to be proud of. It's okay. So a lot of times we get hard on ourselves, we get down on ourselves, because it's like, well, I worked out last week all week, but this week I only worked out 3 days. Well, guess what? Did you work out this week? Yes, you did. It's your best. Be proud. And that was the connection that he was making with all the agreements. But for me personally, he started taking it to church at the end when he started talking about freedom. Are you free? He said, freedom is when you're living in your best life, when you're true to who you are, when you're doing what you want to do. I said, bring it to church, Miguel. Yes, when you are free, you are literally being true to yourself. You feel what I'm saying? You're doing what you want to do. You're happy to be happy. You love to love. And it's just a good spiritual energy to be in. And that's true freedom. And then he talks about creating this dream, having heaven on earth. And I hear this over and over again, how powerful it is to write down your imagination, to dream your imagination, because these things can come true. It's okay to live as a child and have these big fantasies and these big dreams. But most of all, don't be afraid to do it. Like, don't be, and I've been saying this for the longest, the difference between a lot of people is that they are just afraid. And the first thing you need to do to cut out, to be able to make these agreements, you have to first be aware. You have to be aware that you're in your own shit. It's true, it's true. That's the first thing you have to do, is be aware. And once you're aware that it's time for you to make a change, then you can start making these agreements piece by piece. And remember to be at your best at all times. It's going to look different, but do not get hard on yourself. And in the end, he has these prayers for love, prayers for freedom. So it was a very spiritual, an eye-opening type of book, to where I would recommend this book for anyone who is wanting to start their journey, their spiritual journey, or their journey of change, or their journey of a new beginning. It really guides you in the way to bringing your awareness of the different domestications or the different issues you may have that you were never aware of. And I also would recommend this book for someone who is on their journey, because like he said, it's not easy. So this book will keep you focused, it will keep you grounded, it will keep you in that good positive space to continue to push you along that little choo-choo, you know, that train of your spiritual journey. And for me, overall, like I said, it kept me on my spiritual path and my spiritual journey, and it just made me be aware that I still need to address some things that I haven't addressed. And I want to know, what has the book done for you guys? What has this book, this amazing book, because when I said I was reading it, everybody was like, oh my God, somebody told me to read it. Oh my God, I heard I got 2 copies. So I want to know, what has this book done for you? Please leave a comment. Let's talk about it. Let's chop it up, because I'm curious to know, how did this little simple book, it's an easy read, a nice read, a good book to read, keep by your desk, to keep you reminders of how to stay focused. But until then, I'll see you guys next week. No, well, yeah, because I just started reading the autobiography of Gucci. See you next time. Get into it with DOAQ.